And welcome back to the North Star Takes podcast with Bailey Palicki and Jacob Liberta. You can find all our videos here on our channel, and feel free to give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter as well. And also reach out if you have any sports-loving friends as well. Spread the word. We've enjoyed all the support we've gotten so far, and hoping to keep growing here. So Today we're going to talk about the Timberwolves a little bit, and more specifically Karl-Anthony Towns. He's recently posted some photos of himself, and it looks like he's slimmed down considerably. And so that's making many people wonder, do you think there's a chance he's moving to power forward, and are they maybe going to bring a legit center in here to play next to him?
Yeah, honestly, I think it would fit his skill set more, or how he plays, really, because he's a guy that he's not really going to take it to you unless he's kind of pissed at you. Like, for instance, like Embiid, he'll body with Embiid every time we play Philly. Like, those guys are always beefing, but unless he has that, like, extra motivation, he's not usually a guy who likes to get in the paint and throw his body around with bigger centers. Like, for instance, like an Embiid because of the personal beef, but then like a Valanciunas or something. Like, that's not really his game. His game is more, honestly, transitioning to the perimeter and just creating shots like that. So I think, in a way, it probably would make a lot more sense philosophically, but it just depends if he can find a good center to replace him. I think that's the biggest issue here. But I think his game would fit the four. I think he'd be a pretty tall four, but I mean, it could work for us, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it could too. I've always thought he plays more like a power forward than a center. He just, like you said, he doesn't really body down in the paint.
No.
He's a good rebounder, but he's not like a monster rebounder. Like, you look at a guy like Giannis, and he's even more of like a center than what Cat is.
Absolutely.
In terms of just being built and being able to hang down low with the big guys. Cat's always been kind of bodied by like Steven Adams.
Oh, yes, Steven Adams.
Yeah, Valanciunas, like you mentioned. So it makes sense, but at the same time, if they're still trying to get Ben Simmons, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because
who's going to play center then?
Yeah, if you get Ben Simmons, then Cat is still your center. If you trade for Miles Turner, then I guess it makes sense. But I don't know how likely a Miles Turner trade is, I guess. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, I think Miles Turner would be great because he's like a true rim protector.
Absolutely.
He doesn't have to be any sort of focal point of your offense, but he can contribute. So it gives them options, I guess. But like if their number one plan is to go get Ben Simmons, but they've also told Cat to slim down, I guess I just don't understand that.
No, we'd have to be able to definitely outrun teams and just get up and down the floor. If we're playing some half court sets, like that's going to screw us, honestly, if we don't have anybody that can really protect the paint. So I think that'd be a huge issue. But at the same time, I guess if they got some play in their back pocket, like a Miles Turner or something, it just makes all the sense in the world then, because then you really do what Cat does best, and then you still have a rim protector down there too. Because Cat, another problem with him playing the 5 too is he probably still loses at the 4, hopefully a little bit less, but he gets a lot of stupid fouls. And
that is true.
When he's in the paint, so that's really a red flag for us too. Because when he's off the floor, that you can definitely notice it with everybody that we have. Because honestly, everybody, it's kind of obvious, and you would think this, but everybody plays better when Cat's playing. Like, for sure. D'Lo, for sure, like his best friend. Like, oh my gosh, it's night and day. Like, it's not even close. So I think we need Cat to be able to stay on the floor and not collect fouls, and maybe do a little bit better job of that at the 4. So I don't know but kind of working back to this Miles Turner idea. What do you think we'd have to move if we were gonna hypothetically get somebody like him?
For sure, one of Rubio and Beasley. Rubio's $17 million contract is close to Miles Turner, who's making $18 million. Beasley's making about $15.5 million, so that's somewhat close too. So I think you'd have to trade for sure one of those guys. More than likely Malik Beasley, because they already have like Malcolm Brogdon. So they've got like their point guard. Even though Rubio would probably be a bench guy, but I would imagine they'd want the shooting with Beasley. But if you could end up somehow trading both of them, then you could clear out enough cap space where you could bring in a Miles Turner, but then you could also go and chase a veteran shooter off the free agent market like Lou Williams or JJ Redick.
Let's cook.
And that'd be somewhat intriguing too. I'd be way more interested in Lou Williams than Redick for sure at this point. But it'd be kind of interesting. I feel like the Wolves could use a guy like Lou Williams, a true like sixth man veteran. He gets it. He knows how to win. I could also see him going back to the Hawks, though. So which would make sense.
Absolutely. He's from Atlanta, I think. Yeah. But I really like the idea that, honestly, now that you mentioned it, trading away Rubio and Beasley, bringing in a guy like Miles Turner and creating that cap space to potentially bring in a guy like JJ Redick or Lou Will, like that'd be so nice. Could you imagine having our starting 5 with D'Lo, and then you got Ant, and then you guard off the bench is Lou Will. Like that's insane. That'd be great. That'd be the best depth we've had in how long?
Right.
So I think that'd make a huge difference in turning us into a true contender in the West. Maybe not quite NBA Finals quite yet.
Yeah.
Probably got to let Ant grow into his own. But
for sure.
At the same time, you'd like that nucleus. So I really like the idea of that. sign me up, honestly. But
Yeah.
it just depends what the Pacers would really be looking for. If those would be the two players they would take on in exchange for Miles Turner, if they can even absorb that much cap, I guess. I don't even know. But I think that'd be an intriguing proposition. But
yeah, so another thing that we could kind of move towards too is there's some free agent centers on the free agent market as well. You got guys like DeMarcus Cousins and Andre Drummond. Would you really consider either of those guys? I know they're probably bench guys, and you'd probably have to move Nas to the power forward, or you're either trading him in that situation too. So I guess, would you consider signing one of those guys? Maybe prefer one over the other?
possibly. I mean, those guys have both been known to been able to play in this league, but the problem is they're definitely way past their primes now, and they're playing on cheap contracts. So I mean that's really enticing, and I think obviously Drummond, I think more so than Cousins, could really hold down the paint because I mean he just collects a ton of rebounds, and honestly could be that post presence we'd be looking forward to be able to really let Cat play on the perimeter and like keep saying not collect fouls. But I think like you said, he'd have to come off the bench though, and like you said, I wouldn't mind moving Nas to the 4 either because he's kind of an undersized center because I think he's only like 6'8" or 6'9".
Yeah, he is smaller,
Yeah, so I mean, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world either. But I think both those options would be feasible. I guess it just depends if they can stay healthy for a whole season, which I think that remains to be seen.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's the main thing is they're going to have to prove that they can stay healthy, and it'll be interesting to see what they do here. I think a lot of it's going to happen within the next couple of weeks here. We got the NBA draft next week, so it'll be interesting to see. But we'll leave it at that for now. So that will do it for this edition of the North Star Takes podcast. Be sure to like our video and subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for more content. And give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram as well. And feel free to comment below what you think the Timberwolves might do here, and if Cat slimming down is any sort of a sign of what their plans are to come.